So, Dylon, here at Cool Stuff Games Jacksonville, we just finished the OTS. You got top 4. What'd you play and how's your experience?
I played Salamangreat, and the experience was really wonderful, I would say. I got a lot of really good testing, and I really got to just hang out with a lot of my friends and just like have a really good time today.
Again, this is not only a deck you haven't played in a while, but you don't really get to play too much. So to see you pick up a deck that's recently got support and come in is absolutely tremendous with the showing that you just did. Do you have any shout outs you want to give before the profile?
Literally all of Jacksonville. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literally my greatest inspiration. I couldn't do it without you guys.
Insane. Let's go ahead and get into the profile and see what you played.
So, pretty standard from the new stuff. 3 of the Fire, literally the best card all day besides Gazelle. 2 Foxy. So I was considering playing 3, but I just feel like with how much just stuff you have to be like just researching your deck, you don't need it that much. But going in the future, I might play a 3rd one because there were a lot of times where I really needed an extension more than I did the search per se. Pretty standard. 3 Spinny. 3 Spinny. Literally the best extender. I played 2 Jaguar. So the only reason I did this is because like recently when I've been playtesting, I just noticed that a lot of people haven't been playing like Crow and Bell like that. But like Crow, I just feel like is a lot more like impactful when it comes to your resource game and like playing later into the match. So I would just prefer to have 2 only because if they banish the second one, like later if I live through the turn, I can send the Jaguar, just keep going, not having to worry that much. And I was also kind of worried about Runic a little bit, just in case they banish the top one. I would just prefer to have the other one in deck. Literally best card in the deck, Gazelle.
Soon to be at 3.
Yes,
this is a previous format for this OTS. So
best card. My new second favorite Salamangreat card, Weasel. This card overperformed today. It allowed me to set up a lot of like really easy locks, allowed me to draw into really good extenders, really good like hand traps. Just a really insane card. I actually may consider playing 2 going forward, but I actually just think I might just keep it at 1. But it just depends. Best non-salad card is Buffalo. This card drew me into everything I needed today, and I think like still going forward, I'll probably just still play the 3. It's just really good into drawing everything you need per se. And then 3 Ash. Literally, you have to play that 3 only because like Sunlight Wolf can just keep picking it back up, and it's really good to just keep recycling it. Also just really solid into a lot of matchups, and there are a lot of times where you can just side out the card if it's not the best, and then put in other cards. So still, it's not like the worst hand trap, but because you can recycle it, it's really really good. 3 Nib. This card did really well today. I think later I may just cut 1, only because the Enchain matchup is a little awkward, and if you don't have Nib plus Ash, Nib plus Effect Veiler, and even if you do have cards like that, a lot of the time they can still just kind of play through it, or they make cards, so this card is just kind of dead. So just a lot more like staple, like better generic cards maybe. 2 Crow. I really just wanted to test this today. This card did really good into Unchained. And I saw a couple of other people play it in like some different matchups, like Tier Element and everything like that, and this card just did really well. I think I will continue to play it, but I also might test out Vicious later. But this card is just really solid through and through because it just hits most like any card. 2 Effect Veiler. Hated this card. I rather it would be just something else, like Ghost Mourner. Just something that allows me to like just kind of push easier for game and like do something. Sure, this allows me to like if I have 2 of it, let's say I drew 2 in my hand, like I can activate them in a certain turn, but like having different situational cards, I do feel like it's just really good. And then the last hand trap I played was Impermanence. This card is just always perfect through and through. Like I would never change the ratios, and it's just really good to be able to side out 1 just depending upon the matchup that you're going into, or siding out all 3. It just really depends. And then last going second card is 2 Eclipse. So I really like this card today. I wanted to try this over Book of Moon because I felt like there were a lot of decks that like, granted, like if I were to set like let's say they're Omni Gates and I was able to like push through some of the board, like this just allowed me to like not have to worry about like really silly effects like Fenrir or maybe even like Baguska, like very like random things. But this card just came up a lot today and it was really perfect.
It also doesn't do anything to your deck, so.
Exactly. 3 Salamangreat Circle.
My bad. I just need for the form. Is that state or dragon?
State.
You're good.
3 circle. Literally just so good. There was a game today where I played against an Unchained player, and the second effect comes up so much against that deck because having their link to, or even having like, let's say you open up very suboptimally and you need to keep playing through the turn, you can just activate this, just kind of sit on the monster that you have, and like while it doesn't slow them down that much, it just makes them think a lot harder to what like they have to do in their follow-up play, so they can potentially like mess up and I can probably catch them. But like the deck is also just very situational. So, but this card is just phenomenal, just through and through. 1 brick, drew this card 3 times today, ew. 2 side-end mining. I only played 2 because I just felt like it was it's not a brick, but I didn't want to brick on too many of the card. And I just feel like that there are just a lot of other cards in the deck that just do what it does very similarly. So later in the future formats, I'll probably cut this card. Only because like we have 3 Gazelle now, so they really need to like do all that. And I kept count. There was 3 times throughout today where I activated this and I got drolled, and it really just punished me super hard more than anything else, like more than the fire of the Salamangreat. So very good, but like very like weird in just a lot of situations. Last 2 spells is just 2 will. I just wanted really good extenders just to play through Nib, and like I got Nib 9 times today, and this helped me play through it 5 times. So I think the card is really good. I don't want to play 3, just too bricky. I think playing 1 is a little like weird, but depending on like what matchup I'm going to, I can side out 1, or like if I'm going second, and like I would much rather prefer having really big blowout cards, or like really more like high impact. Like siding out like really easy 1-ups in the deck is super easy, and this would be one of the cards. But I thoroughly enjoyed this card today. It was really nice. And then I only played 1 Roar and 1 Rage. So originally I was playing 2 of this because there are a lot of times where you banish the first one and you really need that like second one to like kind of keep you going. But to be honest, there were just a lot of games today where I didn't even need the second one, and the second one was like kind of like more of a brick than it would have been a like really good card going into like boards and everything like that. So while I do think the second one is like really good, I just think having these and like just being able to like properly resource like management them like pretty well is like really key. But I think these cards are perfect. They're really good.
Alright, so for your extra deck?
So for the extra, 3 Baylinks, just very standard. 3 Sunlight Wolf. 2 of the new card. This card is insane. Lets you get into like really any piece of the deck that you already haven't got into. If you need an Omni Negate for all of your like for your hand traps, and it's perfect for the Roar. If you have a matchup to where like Roar or Rage is better, it just allows you to have a lot more versatility, and it allows you to like earlier in the turn, if you already have Roar in your hand or you send it off a Gazelle, it just adds like so much follow up, and it's just a really impressive card, and I really like this card. 1 Helio. It's just to get into this, but this card I just like it going into back row decks, because like you do have Foxy, and instead of just playing the other Foxy, I just played this just because like once again it's just like really good in the back row and super easy to go into your Link 4 and stuff like that. 1 Stalio, literally best horse. And then for the last couple of cards, 1 Splash Mage, 1 Update Jammer, 1 Transcode, and then 1 Heat Soul and 1 Access Code. So this did very well today. There were a lot of games where like after like say turn 5, turn 6, this was just able to like clean up games very well, because unless it was like the Unchained matchup, which is like this is pretty dirt against, I would say. There were just a lot of decks I was just like easily like able to like push through the boards, and they couldn't respond to the effect. And being 53 and being able to hit twice is insane. And there was also a time today where they tried to, I believe it was Impermanence, the talker, but it was connected to the transcode, so it just couldn't be targeted. So I really like this. Going forward though, I've considered like really generic like Link 2s, Hida. I don't think you need Lingaribo, even though like it's a very solid card, considering that you're like you can just easily get it off the board with the Banlist, I really don't think there's like another reason to play it. It's really solid in the trap decks, but if that's the case, then you should already kind of be building your side deck according to your main deck if it's not already really good at going into trap decks, which this deck is really mid-range, so you can just really just build it upon how you really want to and what you think is best for the current format. Yeah, I don't know.
Insane. Let's go ahead and see what you played in your side deck.
I played 3 Droll. So this card only came up like twice today. It's very solid into a lot of matchups, but there are a ton of matchups where this card is just super dead. Doesn't really do anything. And like, for example, Unchained, if they activate Prison and like they already have like Tour Guide in hand, then like they're realistically fine. Because like they can just keep playing through everything. This is really good against Flunder. This was really good against Infernoble. Except for when I played against it, because he kind of already had, you know, he had what he had. But I think this card's just really solid going forward. Let's see. Heavy blowout cards. Just 1 Duster, and then 3 Evenly. I didn't really want to play Cyclone or anything like that because I had Foxy and I had the Heat Leo, and I know they don't do the same thing, but like having so much, like having 1 card meet like 4 into comparison, and then you being able to equalize the game state is just really incredible, I think. And there was just a lot of times where this card just really just came through, like got rid of a lot of like things that my hand normally couldn't play through, and then just like allowed me to exchange through. So I think this card's amazing. And then just lastly for spells, I played 3 Crossout. So only came up twice today. I'm not really too sure how I feel about the card because of how many times it came up. So I'm not really like, I don't have like a lot of testing with it per se. But like, there are a lot of instances where if you get nibbed, that's just your inboard, and there's really nothing you can do. So having this for the nib is really solid. There was a time where my opening hand was this plus Buffalo and like I think Foxy, and I already had the field spell in my hand. So I just activated Buffalo, and I really needed that draw. So I just activated the Crossout, and it just allowed. I drew into Gazelle like Rivalry, so it was literally the best. So then the best card in my deck, Rivalry, is going to literally win me so many games. Being able to set up almost an unkillable Cyburst on this side of the field is just like pretty good. And then considering that you can just make the link for have the field spell up, and even if they try to run into it, a lot of people don't know that the field spell can make your guy 0. You pay 1,000 life, and then you gain the original attack in life points of that said monster. So then like they'll try to kill it, you'll Banlist protect, and now they just wasted their battle phase. So now they're just kind of sitting there just like looking at their hand a little bit more harder than they originally thought. And the last 2 cards are Barrier. So this only came up 1 time today. And going forward, I actually might play like a variant of like tactics into thrust or something like that, or just like maybe just like minimalize some cards in the extra deck. So like when I do go first and I do really like get like hit by nib really hard, I just have really strong cards that will allow me to play next turn. Because really, a lot of the time this deck can just have 1 card and then they just thrive off it. Like you can do so much with like 1 card a lot of the time. And even like if it's a spinny will still always get you into a Sunlight Wolf, so it's gonna be follow up regardless of what is what. Or if you already have 1 engraved, you can make Heat Soul, like you make Access Code. There are a lot of plays with the deck going forward. I don't think I'll play any like XYZs, anything like that. Just the deck locks you into fires too frequently, and you just really won't be able to like do anything effectively that way, I would think. So I think that going for a more link-based, already the deck is like it's a link-based deck, but going for more how do I say?
Just non-linear.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's non-linear. Yeah, that works best. And yeah, that was all. Today was really great. I had a really good time.
Insane. I know this deck is supposed to be getting 3 Gazelle.
Yes,
the consistency is supposed to be going up. We are going to be seeing you here at a few regionals with this deck soon. Do you have any final remarks?
Tell them why you didn't play Desires.
Well, if I were to play Desires in this deck, I would just have waited until Gazelle came back to 3, because there are just a lot of cards that you don't want to banish off the desires. For example, like you don't want to banish the field spell. Only play one. You don't need to play any more of that. Yeah,
There's
Weasel.
a lot of
Like there's just a lot of one-ups, and a lot of people they play one Jaguar, and they're very like risky. Like I think it's just too risky being able to banish like one of your like your best recycler, and then plus like your best extender, and like way to lock your opponent out of the game. I just think that that's a little like too. I just think that's bad. I just think that's bad through and through. So maybe later I will, but for right now, no.
Of course. Well, again, Dylon, congratulations on getting top 4. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
the profile.